Hello everyone, this is Shugo. Welcome to my class, Managing Public Organizations. This is the first video for Lecture 1, Introduction. This video mainly talks about why we study public organizations and why it's important. In other words, this lecture aims to set appropriate attitude toward running public organizations. The main message is that public organizations are large, complex, and ambiguous. In order to address issues in such organizations, we need to rely on elaborated concepts rather than intuition. So let's start reviewing the history of organizations. The origin of English word organization is a Greek word organon, which means organ. This implies that the concept of organization has existed since the ancient time. Also, there have been many and various definitions of organization. I prefer this type of definition which links a group of people with common goals. And then a question arises. Why do human beings create and belong to organizations? One powerful answer is that organizations can be more efficient to achieve a goal than individuals. For instance, one individual could not beat a big mammoth. However, if several individuals cooperate each other to hunt a big mammoth, they would be able to do so. Also, even insects such as bees create hierarchical organizations. In the nest of bees, there are one queen, several soldiers, and many workers to protect their nest. As you know, however, organization increases risks of conflicts between members, so creating organizations cannot always be the efficient or effective way to achieve goals. Williamson maintains that decisions about whether people create organizations or not can be explained by transaction cost. Transaction cost is non-monetary cost of economic activities such as negotiation or collecting information. According to his theory, if costs of communication inside an organization exceed benefits of cooperation to achieve goals, people would not create organizations. We'll see details of his theory in Lecture 3. Why do we study public organizations? Is it important? My answer is yes, definitely. Since the ancient time, government has been the largest and most powerful organization as one unit. It is sure that public organizations has the oldest history as large organizations. Actually, the ancient academic giants such as Plato and Aristotle focused on governance of nations or polis. So, studying public organization is the origin of organizational studies. After the Industrial Revolution, however, another powerful sector appeared, the private sector. It expanded the size of global and national economy and human interaction. The expansion of the private sector also promoted the acceptance of profit-oriented views instead of ethical views. It led to several issues such as gap between the rich and poor, a violation of individual rights. Larger size of economy also led to severe economic recession. The development of modern technology allowed nations fight beyond the borders. To cope with these issues, the public sector also expanded its size. Let's see the US case. After the New Deal and World War II, the US federal government workforce increased from 610,000 to 38 million, only for 15 years. Since the late 70s, however, the movement of anti-big government became harsh. Public opinion studies show that people's trust in government in the US dramatically declined after the Vietnam War. Even Democratic presidents worked on deregulation, service reform, and performance review of public organizations. The basic idea behind this movement is that introduction of business skills can make public organizations more efficient to deliver their public services. Furthermore, the number of private non-profit contractors in the public sector have been growing over time in the United States. Fredrickson and Fredrickson called that situation third-party government, where contractors rather than public officials deliver public service to citizens. In sum, the introduction of business skills and private non-profit contractors in the public sector made the borders of public, non-profit, private organizations more ambiguous. Even if public organizations are large, complex, and ambiguous, we have accumulated experience with good and bad cases. However, the managerial failures still exist. The most powerful national defense in the world failed to prevent 9/11 terrorism attack. Decentralized governance of the US failed to manage emergency at Hurricane Katrina. The worst failure of the US might be this. One of the most educated citizens in the world failed to select an effective leader. Bowman and Dale, the course textbook, explains that a primary cause of managerial failure is rooted in inadequate ideas. To reframe large, complex, and ambiguous organizations, we need accurate maps rather than mental maps. Along with the ideas, I suggest organizational theories can be better maps to diagnose issues in public organizations than your intuition, since the theories are built on accumulated knowledge and empirical evidences. And then, what kind of theories do we learn? Bowman and Dale suggest 4 theoretical frames to diagnose public organizations: political frame, structural frame, symbolic frame, human resource frame. We'll learn these basic theoretical ranks in the following lectures, but please note that these frames are not independent. These 4 frames affect each other inside and outside organizations. Empirical evidence tells us multi-frame thinking is the necessary condition for great managers and leaders. Therefore, I sincerely hope that we will acquire multi-frame thinking and will become a great manager or leader in public organizations. In the next video, we'll learn theories for the publicness. See you there.